I am so excited to introduce you to the Spring 2023 Virtual Showcase speakers from the Big Talk Academy. Each one of these speakers went through the 12-week certification program, which culminated in the Virtual Showcase. I look forward to hearing what you think about their big talks. Enjoy. Racquel Berry-Benjamin. Racquel is a two-time Amazon best-selling author. She completed a 20-year career as an educator. As Commissioner of Education, she earned the VI Department of Education national recognition and an award for her transformational vision and plan. Today, she works as an entrepreneur and businesswoman. Please welcome to the stage, everyone, Racquel Berry-Benjamin with How Acquiring Financial Education is as vital to our success as learning to read.
The entire world came to know of the heroic story of Malala, that teenage girl, now woman, who survived an assassination for speaking out on education for young women. While my story is one of a free public education, it is one that lacked financial literacy. Like many Americans, I fell into thousands of dollars in debt and had to learn about money the hard way. Growing up in poverty with little to no money to provide our basic needs, the government assistance was our knight in shining armor that saved the day. As a child, I was always curious about that thing called money because it was almost taboo to talk about. And when conversations did occur, it was from my mother in my native dialect, along the lines of, I can't afford that. You think money does grow on trees? But when I observed the life of some, I noticed money was not a concern. In fact, I saw some in my own community prospering financially, while some of us were not. According to the latest financial literacy statistics, 57% of US adults are financially literate. As a trained classroom teacher, a 57% pass rate is my cue to reteach the lesson because more than half of my class did not master the content. It was my signal to use a different approach to get a better result. As it relates to our youth, 75% of teenagers lack confidence in their knowledge on personal finance. According to the Council of Economic Education, only 24 states as of 2022 require students to take a financial literacy course in school. Sadly, the cycle continues, and hundreds of thousands of students like me would graduate without a financial education. With America being one of the richest countries in the world, and Americans owing over $800 billion in credit card debt, I argue that we must rethink and redesign how we prepare students to be successful in life after graduation. A rating where 75% of teenagers lack confidence in their knowledge on personal finance suggests that a wave of teenagers who are approaching adulthood are likely to add to the already $800 billion owed in credit card debt, a possibility that increases the chances of them living in poverty instead of financial prosperity. You see, without hesitation, we teach students the art of reading because reading is the number one skill we all must master to be successful at everything in our personal and professional lives. Similarly, while money is not everything, it affects everything in our personal and professional lives. As such, it is my belief that a financial education is as vital to our success as learning to read. Consider my perspective for a moment, where financial literacy is treated with the same level of importance as reading, where it is seen as essential to our survival as water is. Unlike in past years, knowing how credit works is an absolute requirement today to obtain basic needs such as a home to raise a family or transportation to travel to and from work to earn a living. Money in its many variations and forms affects the quality of life for all of us. The latest report on divorces estimates around 20 to 40% of all divorces are due to financial problems. This suggests that money affects loving relationships as well. When money is not adequate to meet our personal and professional needs of persons in love, the union begins to suffer. Time is spent on a cycle of working for money instead of spending time together growing their love. This also leads to separation of families, another factor that negatively impacts children. Not only the emotional stress of witnessing their parents separate, but it oftentimes impacts the economic well-being of children as the combined finances are now divided. The lack of adequate financial resources creates poverty for people, which reduces the quality of life for everyone in that community. However, adequate financial resources create prosperity for people, which usually results in more people living stress-free lives because their basic needs are met and their most wanted desires can be obtained. Adequate financial resources comes from knowing how to make money, how to manage money, and how to multiply money. And knowing how to make money, manage money, and multiply money comes from having a financial education. Given my personal career as an educator, I am very aware that students are taught how to work for money, but not how to make money work for them. Something we know as investing, a skill the 1% among us have mastered. A financial education is the solution to shifting this outdated practice and give birth to a new practice that has the potential to change the financial status and the trajectory of the families now and in the future. I grew up watching members of my family and the families in my community work to work, just to work again, having no sign of financial freedom in the end. Living in a cycle of poverty, not having adequate resources to meet our basic needs and live a life beyond chasing the dollar is what we need. The great Nelson Mandela once said, poverty is not an accident. Like slavery, apartheid, it is man-made and can be removed by human beings. It has been proven through research that education and employment is directly related to poverty. By raising our voices for financial education in our homes, schools, and communities, collectively, we will be taking a transformational step as humans to remove poverty. As a parent, a teacher, and past commissioner of education, what I know to be true is we can all take action from the seats that we sit. Personally, I started educating myself on finance. I started educating my family through games, board games, and free content. Then when I had an opportunity to make a systemic change, I did it. When I served as Commissioner of Education for the US Virgin Islands, I included entrepreneurship, financial literacy, and economic literacy in my vision of transformation, specifically in our Portrait of a Graduate, which guided the development of the department's strategic plan. Now, today I do this work nationally as an advocate for financial education. The cycle of poverty and the latest statistics on financial literacy among children and adults are reason enough to make financial education a core part of every child's education. Together, let's generate and create a generation of people that ends the cycle of poverty by the masses because they've received a financial education. Can you see the beauty of our world when the masses are financially literate? Children growing up in poverty-free, prosperous homes. Can you see the divorce rate decreasing and the credit scores increasing? Can you see the shift in families living stress-free, healthier lives, and future generations telling a new story of prosperity? According to Malala, our voices are our most powerful weapon. And there's a moment when you have to choose to be silent or to stand to your feet. Let's stand and raise our fists in the air together and sound the alarm on the lack of financial education in our homes, schools, and communities. I could hear the wealth gap closing and see the end of poverty. Can you?
Amazing, amazing, Racquel. Thank you so much. Really great set, really beautiful wardrobe. The content is so important. How you laid out the idea of financial literacy one step at a time was really, really great because of the complex content. So that was a really, really nice way of laying it out. When you talk about credit card debt, and that more students who are not financially literate are going to add to that credit card debt, really important content. And I know how you feel about it based on how you delivered it. And what I mean by that is there was a slight bit of snarkiness in your delivery when you talked about how these kids are going to just add to the credit card debt. The next part, however, so keep that more neutral, because the next part, when you talk about financial education is vital, that is when you leaned in and you really showed me that you care about this so deeply. So that moment, which is your idea, is fantastic to give me more of that personality and more about how you feel. But the part before, stay neutral so that it doesn't color what we're thinking about it. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Beautiful. I love that you're teaching us about money and how to talk about it. I love that you're connecting money to love and to family. I also love that you connected the dots between prosperity and basic needs. Nobody's talking about prosperity and basic needs, and I think that is really powerful. I also love that you said, let's give birth to a new practice. Yes, we have to give birth to this new practice. The way you deliver content is personal and confident. It's relatable. I'm just going to throw this out here. Potentially you should run for office. Raising voices for financial education. Raising voices for financial education is so important. One thing that I was missing that I would love for you to think about potentially for future talks is tell us how we can help, who we can call, how we can get our voices heard inside of the institutions. I wanted to know either who to call, who to vote for, who to write a check to so that I can actually make a difference, because we're on board with you. We want to say yes, we just don't quite know how. And then at the end, you paint the picture of the children and the health and the future generations of prosperity. And guess what, Racquel, your voice is strong enough. We don't need you to bring Malala back into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And end with your voice being the last one we hear. Got it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing, amazing. I'm with you. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the virtual showcase speakers of the 2023 spring cohort. I would love to hear what you think about each of their talks. And if you desire to speak on my big stage, head on over to thebigtalkacademy.com and register today. Remember, your voice matters. Big love. Mwah.